Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-hosts.
I'm the co-host, Caliban. I'm also the noob, and I'm the Lord of the Dance.
And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Crisis make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 145, Prima o Nerare, Usagi no Barre in Japanese, Becoming a Prima, Usagi's Ballet, the English translation, and the English title, Tutu Treachery.
It's Usagi no Ballet.
Yeah.
We'll find out if that's true or not as the episode continues. People are listening to this show on Spotify. We're an official Spotify podcast from now on. Did you know that?
I do now.
Not that I have nothing against Spotify, and I know that it is, from the numbers and the robots and the research, I know it is how most people listen to our show.
All right.
I have a different thing. It's just an app that I like. It just grabs the things, and so it's not Spotify. Although I did just get a pair of Amazon Buds,
yes.
And they want you to use Amazon Music, and they're trying to force me to use it, but you can also use Spotify. So I might get railroaded into Spotify.
I see.
Long story short, I know that a lot of people listen to the show on Spotify, and that's great. We especially love that because we can see, who's listening, and that's really good because we've got such targeted ads. We got to move these refrigerators and also these hemorrhoid pillows. But also, the problem with this is that there aren't any reviews on Spotify. Really,
right.
There is a feature for every episode that comes out on Spotify. There's a Q&A. And unless we say something specific like, do you think that Usagi no Ballet? Then it's just like, what'd you think about the episode? Or here's your comments for the episode.
Right.
So we're asking that, in lieu of a review, let us know you're out there. And if you're listening to this and you have like easy access to this on your app or just on Spotify, do that. Hit the Q&A,
Yeah.
Tell us what you thought. We'd appreciate that. For those of you who have access to review-based platforms,
yes.
Why not give us a review?
Why not?
Why not do it?
Yes.
At some point, the choir is preached out, and everybody who can do it and is going to do it has done it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Are we close to that?
I don't know.
On the the thermometer, the fundraiser March of Dimes thing,
right.
Like I think we're maybe 3/4 of the way up, maybe higher.
Okay.
But just for now, we're going to say, if you're on iTunes, I think you can do them on Amazon, or any like a pod collection service like Podchaser or something like that. If you haven't left us a review yet, go ahead and do that. We'll read it on the air. We really appreciate it.
That's awesome.
All hail Spotify.
All hail Spotify. And I just am envisioning us going through the airwaves and being like, review to everybody and seeing
like you're
if
Ghost in the Shell or something?
like saying like, so you've done a review, so anybody not done a review yet? No,
I didn't get a review out of that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You watch your ass.
Do you want me to noob your ass? I don't know what that is. I apologize.
$40, same as downtown.
Oh my gosh. All right. Cal, could you give us a breakdown of today's episode?
Break it down into the basic forms, if you will.
Yes.
The different movements, the subtle blend of shapes, thrown shapes.
Yes.
That create the magic that is ballet.
The magic, the majesty that is ballet.
Or crumping. Either way. No, we're only going to deal with one of those in this episode. The episode actually opens with a view of a pair of ballet dancers, and we are looking at a poster that's advertising the Yamagishi Ballet Troupe's performance of Giselle.
Yes.
Usagi and Chibiusa are looking at this poster outside of the Yamagishi Ballet School and talking about how ballet is the new trend. Mm-hmm. It is this week. They're offering free lessons for beginners, and they're looking for new members for their upcoming performance of Giselle. Mm-hmm. Usagi and Chibi see this as their chance to be in the show, although they both see themselves in that lead role.
Of course they do.
This will not cause friction down the line.
No.
Later at Fruit Parlor Crown, the squad finds out that Usagi and Chibi have signed up for ballet school, and Ami points out that Giselle is a story where the heroine dies of grief from being betrayed. Then she becomes a spirit. Then she has to help her lover/betrayer to keep him from being danced to death by other vengeful spirits.
Super happy.
That's right. It's the first one on the rack of DVDs at the Mizuno household. All the good stuff.
Oh, no.
All the real uplifting operas
Oh, no.
and ballets are on there.
Oh my God. She strikes me as somebody who likes really depressing media.
Yeah, cultured but dark, let's say.
Yeah.
I'm just glad there's no magic horses in it. Makoto asks if Usagi is playing Giselle, but Usagi says, well, not exactly. But they said they found me a wonderful part that was perfect for me. It's a very important role called the Ticket Taker. Chibi, it turns out, won't be in the show because they said, I quote, it was impossible for kids. Remember, kids, you can't do anything.
Yeah, right.
We don't have any little flowers to go across the stage.
Yeah, right.
Nobody to play a dog. We'll see later that this is not like a big deal. Do you know what I mean? They could have found something for her to do.
They could have.
Maybe they just saw her and they're like, no.
It's possible.
No, sorry, full.
Yeah.
Yes, next, you. Yes, you're in. Minako thinks it's great, but Rei thinks it's weird that Usagi would be part of such a romantic story. But I think it's weird that Rei is wearing a peekaboo crop top?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is she auditioning for Power Girl later? I mean, I know they're trying to make her more popular, but not like this. Not like this.
Yeah, let's not do it like this.
Usagi says, talent. It's talent. When people take a look at me, they know. And the girls are like, when they look at you? And Usagi's like, huh? Huh? Yeah? Huh? At Yamagishi School, the dancers are warming up for practice, and Minuetto, a.k.a. the rich people walking around music, is playing.
Yes.
But Usagi is still in the locker room getting ready, and Chibi is there too. And as Usagi slips a foot into one of her ballet slippers, she notices a thumbtack inside. Who could have done this? Usagi says, just because I got my big break, to think someone would be jealous enough to do this. No, I won't lose. I will overcome and be the greatest prima donna in Japan. No, the world. But Chibi says, isn't that what happened on last night's episode of Star of Ballet and you put the tack in the shoe yourself?
I know.
Star of Ballet. Didn't see it.
No.
Is it a TV show?
I don't know.
Anime or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of just assumed that
it would be a cultural reference that we wouldn't get. But I looked it up and I didn't find.
I don't think it is anything.
Right.
I think it's just like we're deciding there
was no Dancing with the Stars back then. They're so close. They were so close to it though.
Yes.
Dancing with the Stars Ballet Edition.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
You get Mitch McConnell out there and you get him doing the splits, practicing for a couple weeks. And he gets out there and boom, down.
I just had
He's bruised for the next 6 months.
I just got a really horrible vision in my head. Thank you for that.
Anyway, Usagi's like, I don't know what you're talking about. No. What? No.
Me?
In the rehearsal room, Usagi and Chibi are struggling to remember their positions, and Chibi says, you've gotten a lot fatter, Usagi. Bitchy.
Yeah.
A man's voice says, no, that's all wrong. And Usagi and Chibi are immediately like, we're sorry. But the ballet master, Mr. Yamagishi, isn't talking to them. He's instructing Kiriko, the Prima ballerina. He says, Giselle is a spirit. If you can't dance the part without adding humanity to it, the performance is a failure. Now again. Usagi and Chibi see this and think, even though she's the best, the way of performance is tough. We cut to the locker room and see a certain green-haired dancer with fish earrings looking at themselves in the mirror and saying, I always wanted to wear a leotard, and now the Prima is mine. Uh-oh. Now I got a little excited here. Maybe it's just the way that their hair is done and the color. But I was like, oh, Michiru? But no.
Oh, yeah.
Just for a second.
Just for a second. I think Michiru would be a good ballet dancer, though.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think so, too. Everyone takes their places at the bar, and they begin their exercises with some pliés and some stretches. Mako loses her balance and falls on Mina. And whoa, speaking about being good, something she's not automatically good at.
I knew you were going to say that. I was so excited.
Actually, none of the girls are all that great.
Yeah, that's true.
First of all, Chibi can't get her leg up on the bar, but that's just anatomical.
Oh.
And Rei accidentally kicks the instructor when she does a développé. She bam, just hits him. As the instructor gets his wind back, it seems like he's maybe regretting giving these free lessons. But then he sees a vision of gracefulness. Fish is putting on a clinic on their side of the room.
Yeah. From
the neon bar to the studio bar. Fish can do it all. And to the sounds of the Haruka Michiru love theme.
Was it really?
Did you catch that?
No.
Yes.
I did not catch that. Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Just feels like they're taunting us now.
It does.
The girls are like, whoa, she's good. But they do note that the performance is a little cold, as if she's not of this world.
Yes.
Is that your review? Don't review us on Spotify like that. It's a little cold. It's a little subjective. The performance by the Prima ballerina was an exquisite expression of the beauty of dance, but had the evocative quality of being a gender-bending circus murderer.
Whoa!
3 stars.
Whoa! It got real dark.
3 stars. The instructor, however, is sprung on this fish and is already seeing his new Giselle. He says, "Can you stay after the lesson?" Fish says, "Me?" And the guy says, "When I look at you, I see my Giselle." Remember those words.
Yeah, good
Fish
point.
says, "Oh, anything I can do to help." But Kiriko comes over and says, "Wait, what is this now? She's going to be the Giselle?" The instructor says, "Wait now, listen, baby, I can explain. Don't stab yourself in the face multiple times."
Oh my God.
Like Winona Ryder in Black Swan. That happened in Black Swan, right?
I'm taking your word for it.
I didn't like Black Swan much, or should I say I liked it a lot better when it was called Perfect Blue. I said it.
Yes.
Moving on. A lot of his movies are like that. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Kiriko takes this news about as well as Winona Ryder did in Black Swan, and she says, "I don't want to hear this. I'm the same as Giselle. Give me that nail file." No. She says, "I'm fated to die after being betrayed by the one I believe."
Not better.
2 things. This is becoming a lot like Black Swan.
Yeah.
Geez, Arronovsky, how much anime do you watch?
I know.
Let's see. Mother is Earth-chan, of course.
Okay.
The wrestler is Baki the Grappler. Maybe he got Noah from Superbook.
Superbook for the
And
win.
the whale is my Jimbu. Okay, we're done.
Okay, wow.
And second, Kiriko, you are being betrayed by the one that you believe. Use this.
I know.
Just use it in some other company. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
Kiriko runs out in tears, and Fish thinks to themselves, too bad. The Prima is mine.
Yes.
Louis Prima. And Mr. Yamagishi's heart as well.
Uh-huh.
That's just a little bonus on the side.
Yes.
After the class, the girls are in the locker room, and Usagi is bent over in exhaustion. But the other girls are like, all right, well, we're heading to Fruit Parlor Crown. Bye. But Chibi's like, I'll wait for you. Hurry up. While they're there, they can hear some of the other students gossiping about the recent developments and about how Kiriko and Mr. Yamagishi argue all the time. Also, they're not talking about how the plots of Black Swan and Showgirls are almost identical, but that's not important to our story.
Oh my God, are they really?
On the way home, Usagi and Chibi see Kiriko standing on a bridge, looking over the river. Oh no!
Oh, no.
Red shoes! Red shoes! Don't do it!
Oh my God.
She doesn't. We cut right to a park bench where Kiriko is talking to Usagi and Chibi. She says, "Now I think I was being a little foolish." This is where they should cut to. They should cut to a bar. Because there's no neon bar in this episode.
Yeah, I know.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So they just let's take her off this bridge and get her to a bar. The music comes in. Now I think I was being a little foolish. And Usagi says, anyone would be upset to lose a lead role so abruptly. But Kiriko says, it's not that abrupt. We're always arguing. He took the lead away from me because I lacked the skill. Being hysterical about it was the worst thing I could have done. And Chibi says, I don't know much about dance, Miss Kiriko. I'm 7, but when you dance, it's warm and kind, and it makes me feel so happy. 5 stars. Wish you were a casting director, kid. Kiriko says, thank you. Mr. Yamagishi can't see anything else when it comes to ballet. His passion is amazing. Chibi says, you like Mr. Yamagishi, don't you? More than a friend.
Oh my God.
Kiriko nods. She says, Giselle dies and becomes a spirit because of betrayal, but she still tries to save the man she really loves. I wanted to be just like her. I wonder if that'll come up later. I wanted to help him even if he didn't love me back. And Chibi says, then all you have to do is to keep doing your best and maybe make out with Mila Kunis. I hear that helps. Kiriko says, when I hear you say that, I feel like I can do it. And Usagi says, it's important to do your best. There you go. Get in this, Usagi. Come on, you're just sitting there.
I know.
Like a lump on a bench.
Oh.
And Chibi says, yeah, maybe even you will get an A on a test, Usagi. And Usagi's like, yeah. I go, what? That's not what we're talking about.
No.
Kiriko says, okay, I'm going to go stalk Mr. Yamagishi. I mean, I'm going to give it one more shot.
Uh-huh.
And Usagi says, I know you can do it.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle.
Bye-bye.
That night in Chibi's loft, she's thinking to herself about how much Kiriko thinks about ballet and how Mr. Yamagishi doesn't understand. And Pegasus muzzle times in to say, even if she can't be understood right away, I'm sure she will someday. This is the most useless advice that Pegasus has ever given.
I give this advice 1 star.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, I wasn't fully paying attention. Equus is on Showtime.
Oh, God.
He said, well, that Peter Firth really blew up.
Oh, my God.
He says, sometimes there are tough challenges for those on the same path, but the reason they understand each other is because they know they only have each other. Your lucky numbers are 4, 9, 13, 34, and 68. Chibi says, adults are really complicated. And Pegasus says, I'm sure that Yamagishi is thinking about Kiriko as well.
Uh-huh.
And Chibi says, I hope she ends up happy. By the way, this is my weekly reminder that you shouldn't tell anybody about me.
My God.
Anyway, I'm going to finish this chow mein. That's the kind of Chinese food a horse would eat.
A chow mein? Why
Chow mein.
Chow. Oh, mane, because they have a mane. Okay. I knew there was a joke in there somewhere. I just wasn't getting it.
Yeah, you gotta really dig.
Through those
That or
noodles.
anything with bean sprouts. I think they would probably really like that.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, the carrots, that's a given. There's carrots
yeah.
in a ton of Chinese food.
Yeah, for sure.
That night at the studio, Yamagishi and Fish are finishing their rehearsal for Giselle, and Yama says, I feel pretty good about this. We should have an on-stage rehearsal. And Fish is jazzed at the idea, but as he wipes the sweat from his face, he can see in his mind a vision of Kiriko as Giselle, in tears at her betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the character? Is it Kiriko?
Yeah, right.
What's the difference? What's the difference? Fish, maybe sensing they're losing their fish off the hook, says, hey, are you thinking about Kiriko? And he says, well, I'm sorry for that scene that we made earlier. But Fish says, you don't have to worry about me, but I feel sorry for Kiriko. You should worry more about a girl's feelings. Fish takes his hand and says, girls always want people to look at them and just them. So just look at me and show me your dreams. They are interrupted by the sound of 2 bodies hitting the floor. Nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them. It's just Chibi and Usagi eavesdropping.
and then actually dropping.
Usagi says, I just forgot my ballet shoes from earlier. And Chibi says, yeah, we were just, hiding around the corner. Usagi says, idiot. It looks like you're busy, so we'll just skedaddle. Bye. And they turn to leave. And Fish says, well, I never. But Yamagishi says, well, it's getting late. You should go home too. And Fish walks out, but he says, Miss Tsukino, can you come to the theater tomorrow? I'd like to rehearse your role. Mm-hmm. Remember that for later.
Yeah.
And Usagi's like, yes, the first step to becoming a Prima. Pucker up, Mila Kunis.
Oh my God.
The next day outside the theater, Kiriko arrives with her ballet slippers and thinks, I'm here. Even if I'm not Giselle, I just want to help however I can. Maybe they need a spot operator or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what does she think that she's going to do?
I don't know.
Maybe Jeff Galooly will stop by and then I'll have to get in there.
Oh my God.
That's...
I don't know.
You should know what that is.
I don't know.
Anyway, somebody's got to clean up all the pieces of broken mirror.
Oh my God.
Black Swan's coming back to me. It
Okay.
is coming back.
Ooh.
This isn't Black Swan, I know. In the theater, on the stage, Yamagishi and Fish are rehearsing their pas de deux. And once it's complete, Yamagishi says, that was great. So we're just like, before he's like, oh, the swirling beauty of the spirit inside. That was pretty good. And Fish says, thank you. And he says, with this, I think Kiriko's Giselle will be complete. And Fish says, what's up?
I'm sorry, come again.
Aren't I Giselle? Uh-oh, somebody else is getting betrayed.
Uh-huh.
Yamagishi says, oh, sorry. I didn't explain it very well. I've never wanted anyone other than Kiriko to play Giselle. Okay, get his mirror out. Let's do this.
I know.
What is this crap?
I know.
As a performer, this isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Fish needs to call their agent right now.
Right?
Yeah. Also, he said before, I see my Giselle in this person.
Like looking at Fish.
I see the skills I need to transfer onto the girl I want to be Giselle?
I don't know.
That literally is like a I'm doing this girl like situation.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I don't like it.
Fish was robbed here.
Uh-huh.
And Fish knows it. Fish says, you tricked me and used me. That was my plan. He says, I'm sorry, I have another important part for you. Props mistress.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. We never find out what the other part was.
No.
Fish says, knock it off. If it's not Giselle, then why am I here?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm a way better dancer than that girl.
Uh-huh.
Yama, who cannot see a circus murderer a foot in front of him, says, I do think you're a better technical dancer, but Kiriko will become a better overall dancer by playing this role.
Huh.
What is this, like Fisher-Price Ballet?
Interesting.
I guess he does run a school.
Yeah.
So if you look at this as like, this is the school's, in-house performance, like a community thing. It's a developmental thing. If this isn't the Bolshoi, but still,
right.
You don't promise. She could have turned down other roles for this. You don't do this.
No, you don't do it.
She could be killing people all over town.
It's very
She's here to kill you.
Yeah.
They make murdery movies about this that I have been obliquely referencing this entire time.
I know.
He says, I want Kiriko to be a better ballerina in the overall view of things by playing this role. More than a perfected spirit of Giselle, an imperfect Giselle that continues to grow has the power to enchant people's hearts. She doesn't have to be a cold-hearted Giselle. They'll like her because she sucks.
Whoa.
What? What's he saying? When it's time to do it, it's time to, the curtain goes up, it's time to go.
I know. I think he's...
Look, Fish to be like, I could dance badly for the first 10 minutes and then get better. Fish says, and listen to these words. What are you talking about? That's stupid.
Yeah.
It's all right if it looks pretty on the outside. But he says, that's not enough. You have to touch the hearts of the people who are watching. I don't know. Ever do a 10:30 a.m. student matinee?
No, but I know you have.
Yeah. It doesn't always matter if you believe it inside or not.
Yeah.
He says, I want to leave something in people's hearts through ballet. Like loose change. That's my dream. In the wings, Kiriko hears this and says, Sensei, I'm sorry. I didn't know your feelings at all. He says, all this time I was trying to draw out a ballet that was fit for you. And she says, Sensei, and runs into his arms. And Fish is like, what? Enough of this happy, crappy bullshit. They snap their fingers and their rug unfurls, and when it refurls, they're in their circus togs. Fish says, how dare you try and fool me? I'm the fooler here. And they shoot a blast of water out of their hand that knocks Kiriko down. Not so graceful now, huh?
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, she's going to get better at dodging blasts of water. And then their lives will be changed. I don't know if we've seen Fish do this before.
No, this is actually the first time I think we've seen any of the trio like directly attack somebody with like their element, be it water, fire, or feathers. I don't really know.
I swear that Tiger has fired somebody before.
Has
Hasn't
he?
Blown fire like a fire breather?
Possibly.
A blast of feathers. Ooh, it tickles. 1, 2, 3, and Yamagishi is on the board, and his mirror is out. It was neck and neck about whose dream we're talking about.
Right.
That'll be in the rating. Usagi and Chibi are backstage. They're probably still eavesdropping. They probably just went like, should we get there early to like sneak up and listen to people's conversations?
Right.
And they transform into Sailors Moon and Chibi. I guess while they're doing that, Fish sticks their head into Yama's mirror. Guys, I mean, like, I guess you have to be super to intervene, but they should do it when we cut. We cut out front. She's like, no, found the man. Like, it's just like, you can never stop this from happening.
Apparently not.
I guess not. Anyway, Fish sticks their head into Yama's mirror, and fair is fair. We get a real anguished scream and some legitimate blushing.
It's painful.
So the boys can do it too, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just mean like the sexual element that I
know.
pointed out.
I know.
Has not been there for previous male victims.
I agree.
You're a special guy, Mr. Yamagishi.
Oh my God.
Fish emerges and says, well, no Pegasus. They put their hand on Yamagishi's cheek and say, I'm sorry, but I'll have you dead. And why would I bother to translation rewind that? It's perfect. Unless it was like, sorry, the part I actually had in mind for you was dead.
Oh my God.
Or, I'll be casting you off a cliff.
Well, I mean, that's also good.
You do one.
Gosh. I like you better dead.
You'll get grave reviews.
Your star is rising in heaven.
It's good that you're sending him to heaven.
I guess you're right.
Could be worse.
Could be.
We hear, hold it right there! A villain dousing the heart of passionate art and the roaring flames of passion. hold it right there. We got to repeat ourselves a couple times. A lot of paint fumes from the set. In the name of the moon will punish you. Sailor Moon and Chibi are here. Fish says, geez, you again? I'm in a really bad mood. I've lost an important part. Come forth, my lemur. Nutcracker Kurumi Wario. Yes. Uh-oh, it's Wario.
Yes.
Out of Fish's shadow comes like a marionette. It's like a puppet. It's not Wario.
Right, I know.
Yeah, big disappoint.
Yeah.
The wooden Pinocchio-like puppet strikes a pose, and Sailor Moon looks at Chibi and says, looks like we had another weird one. Chibi says, I'm getting tired of these guys.
I know.
Not Wario says, hey, stop with the chit-chat. And Fish says, Wario, you handle it. And Wario rotates his head all the way around. It's very creepy. And says, I'll make them wonderful primas. And Fish says, he's a weird one. Anyway, have fun. And backflips through a ring of water. Wario says, okay, the conditions for a prodigal prima are 90% sweat and 10% talent. I'll show you an amazing trick. I'll teach your grandmother to suck eggs. Put your legs like this.
Oh my God.
And he sticks his leg up in an arabesque. Sailor Moon says to Chibi, so what do you want to do? And Chibi says, you want us to take him out now? Wario says, little girl, are you paying attention? Actually, I don't know what Wario sounds like at all. Is that close?
I don't
He's vaguely
it sounds
Italian,
like good.
right?
Yeah.
He's like, are you paying attention? And they're like, yes, yes. And he says, special attack, grand fouette and tournant, which is a real thing.
Yes.
It's like, when you balance on one leg and, you're like doing the spin kick thing.
Yes.
It's the ballet spin kick.
Yes.
You know what it is.
I do.
But he's just balancing on one leg while his torso is like rotating around its axis.
Not
And he's
quite
like
the
going,
same thing.
8, 9, 10, 11. The girls are like, wow. And he stops and says, now do you feel my powers? And they're like, oh, that's amazing. And he says, your turn. All together towards the star of ballet. You will aim. Star of ballet.
Star of Ballet?
Is that what it is?
Is that what it is? Maybe.
Is he talking metaphorically or is he talking about the TV show?
The way you said it just now, it sounded like the TV show. But when I was watching it earlier, I thought he was just like, yeah, you'll be the star of ballet. So
I'm so confused.
I am confused.
Does he watch this show?
Meanwhile, back at the circus, hey, Fish, turn it down.
Keep
it down. I can't hear the star of ballet.
I can't see it from my cage that I'm kept in. And he whips his tutu at them.
Yes.
Which ends up around Usagi's waist. It's a tutu. Mm-hmm. It's not an attack. It's just a dress. And Usagi's like, oh. And Chibi's like, aw, cute. And Wario says, you, the big one. You're stretching the tutu out. And Chibi's like, oh, it is a little stretched out there. And Usagi's like, shut up. Wario says, you fail as Prima if you don't maintain your figure. You'll twirl twice as much as the others. Begin. And he claps his hands, and the tutu begins spinning Usagi around. Chibi tries to hold her back, but she gets caught up in it too. They're spinning wildly until the tutu breaks and the sailors fall to the floor.
Yes.
Wario says, you need more training. Here's the real stuff. He says, grand battement, which is a real thing, but instead of doing that, he just shoots a walnut out of his head. Mm-hmm. What's happening?
Yeah.
He shoots a walnut out of his head.
I know.
That impacts into the stage. He's a nutcracker, you see.
Mm-hmm.
But he also makes nuts. I don't know how it works.
He
takes another nut and he puts it into the bladed hole that appears in his torso and cracks it, and it sends shell pieces like bullets flying at the Senshi, making them dance. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That actually does
the
track.
dancing.
Yeah, right.
Alternately, he could be a gunfighter and then be like, dance.
That's
and
true.
then they dance, right?
Yes.
As they're dancing, he's still shouting instructions like, keep your line of sight up, posture, posture. Finally, the barrage stops and he says, I have nothing else to teach you. And the girls are like, great. And drawing another walnut, he says, go dance in hell!
Oh my God, I know.
Not heaven. And they're like,
So maybe you could start jeting and stop terrorizing me.
Oh my gosh.
but a red rose hits the stage between the combatants. Up in the rafters, it's Tuxedo Mask. And I feel like we've been waiting the whole show for an entrance like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is perfect. This is his idiom to a T. He just needs like a bigger mask on one side, you know,
Yeah.
like to cover his scarred face.
Right.
TM says, suspicious doll lost in the night's curtains, haunted by the midsummer night's dream. What the hell? Is he announcing the new theater season? I, Tuxedo Mask, cannot forgive you. And Wario says, a taxi with a vase? Or Takushi ga Kabin.
Okay.
It's wordplay.
Oh, okay.
Tuxedo Kamen, Takushi ga Gabin.
Okay. All right.
So it's Japanese wordplay.
They love their wordplay. We
And
know
you
this.
know I had to translation rewind on this one.
Yes.
In the Viz sub, it says Taxi Damask,
Yeah.
which is all right.
Yeah.
But that's an English malaprop instead,
Right. Exactly.
which is like
Not a Japanese
Damask
one.
is just the word mask with da in front of it. You could have a Damask Mask.
Sure.
I am Damask Mask. Actually, I am. It's proper, so I am the Damask Mask.
Just make it.
I get punched in the head a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Tuxedo Mask says, Tuxedo Mask! And Chibi with a wave of her Carillon, which I feel like she's had her hand on this entire time.
Yeah.
Along with her other hand on her 45. She wants out of this one. With a twinkle yell, she summons Pegasus. Pegasus says, you know, that Natalie Portman was all right in Black Swan, but you know what's really good? The Professional. That's the stuff right there. Leon was a lucky guy.
Oh my
The
God.
worst thing I've ever said.
That really, really is the worst thing.
Sailor
you've
Moon
ever said.
gives us the MGM, and Wario stages out for the last time. The stage clear, Kiriko and Mr. Yamagishi awaken and embrace. And Sailor Moon says, oh, me too, and runs across the stage to hug Tuxedo Mask. He says, Sailor Moon, don't you think you need to go on a diet after all? Les sigh.
Yeah.
He thinks back to the tutu breaking, and he says, although it did save you. And listen to these words. She says, if you were watching, you could have saved us sooner.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got a point.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pull too hard at this thread. It will bring the entire tutu of the show apart.
Yeah.
But
right.
where is he? And how does he... We're getting close to seeing him shimmying up a flagpole 5 seconds before he says, throws a rose at somebody and then says a haiku.
He's got to time his entrances
What is it?
perfectly. So, yeah.
Because and they've got me all messed up because that one time before he knew that he was Tuxedo Mask, we saw him like teleport one time when she was in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
He was just walking down the street.
Right.
And she was getting molested by a bat lady or something like that. And he was like, ugh, and he
Yes.
like disappeared and presumably reappeared to defend her.
Yes.
But now he's just like
That's
on the
not an issue
crosstown.
anymore.
And he's
Yeah,
like, how
right.
many more stops are there? I mean, I've been pulling the thing. I'm going to be late. So he got to this one early. That's what I'm saying. Chibi says, always being saved. Are you really a senshi of justice? You eat too many snacks. And Usagi says, I don't want to hear it. We cut to opening night. Many fancy men and women are in the audience as Yamagishi and Kiriko dance their pas de deux. The squad is enjoying the show, but they wonder, where is Usagi? And Chibi says, she told me not to tell you guys, but... Are you calling a cat? And we cut up to the moon, hanging on the backdrop. And Usagi is inside of it with her head sticking out. Now I have a question.
Yeah.
How does that need rehearsal?
It doesn't.
Maybe just like they had to put her in the rigging and make sure she's
Maybe.
safe and don't move around.
Maybe.
This is our test. Why is there a fit? What?
I know, it's just for a dumb joke.
It is a dumb
at the
joke.
end, and we're it's a fat joke again. Like we haven't had a bajillion of those. This
I didn't
episode.
even. Now it's hilarious.
Why? It's awful.
Extra rose.
No. He's like, I've got a role that's perfect for you. Screw you, Yamagishi.
You're licking your lips. Not that kind of role. This is a stage role.
Yeah.
If I had to do a role on stage, don't eat it. It's a prop.
Oh my God, stop it.
That actually works. Now I get it. If you know, what do you know about dance?
Sorry, that's such a broad question. I'm not exactly. What do you mean by that?
Because the truth about dance is, like 10% of it, 0 is talent, 10% is sweat, and 90% is you being yelled at for being too fat.
Yeah, well, I know that that's true, but I don't like that that's very present in this episode. And I know that's very true for ballet specifically.
And I don't know if the writer was like working something out or if they did research for this, but that's very true. A friend of mine studied ballet and wanted to be a ballet dancer growing up and got pretty far. And she told me about her like teacher, calling the students, little cow, come on, little cows, come on.
God.
Let's line up. And it was just
Awful.
that. All the time. She had an eating disorder, pretty serious one.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's no joke. That's why it rubs me the wrong way. I understand that, in the 90s, this was
dry rub.
No,
but
like, but
I got no food jokes.
I feel like this was just like, what do we think about when we think about ballet dancers? And we're like, okay, well we know they have to be really thin. I wouldn't immediately
think about that.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I think there is some background here. Somebody took dance,
probably,
and then went, oh, we're doing anything about dance. So like the fun part of it, it's like, no, like come up with like, oh wait, we haven't done a fat joke about Usagi in a while. And she picked a literal moon at the end. Now, like, come on, game recognized game. That's pretty good.
No, I don't like
it. The only thing I don't like about it is that I didn't get it until you pointed it out. I guess I respect women too much.
Wow. Wow.
Did you ever take ballet?
I took tap and jazz. So no, I never took ballet. I had ballet shoes, but then like they're like, oh no, you should wear jazz shoes. I don't know. Ballet shoes are different from like jazz shoes. They're like tap shoes. Yes.
Yeah.
But I had ballet shoes, but I don't. So I'm trying to remember if when I was really, really small, I might have taken ballet, but I don't remember that much of ballet. But I had a dance teacher who yelled at me a lot. That's I think that definitely happens a lot with dance.
Yeah.
She had me go up in front of the class, do the dance, and she had the other students tell me what I was doing wrong. So I really, really appreciated that.
And you haven't held on to it at all.
No! Why would I?
I really had to dig that out.
I know. How about you?
Yes.
Yes, you've taken ballet.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Tell me about your experience.
It was not too much more than like what Usagi is doing. Just, beginner classes and just learning the positions and everything. And there's a lot that you have to remember. Mm-hmm. It's like learning a language,
Sure.
Because there's like, beginner, intermediate classes, you don't know the really tough stuff. But when they say do number 5, do this, do that, do this move, you got to remember all that stuff.
Of course.
And then if you do it wrong, you're the only one that did it wrong. So you feel like an idiot. And you got to look at yourself the entire time.
Right.
Because there's a stupid mirror there. But no, it was fun. I would definitely keep doing it if I, could afford to do it. But I can't afford to. We got a Patreon.
Yeah.
Send Cal to Back to Ballet class at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. No.
It's expensive.
Yeah, but I have nothing but respect for it. And I've never, ever seen a ballet dancer that I thought was too fat.
No, I don't.
No, I don't. I didn't mean it that way.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, who cares? What does it matter?
I know. There's a lot of stigma around it, though.
There is, and I wonder
like
if
being perfect, like that perfect little doll, and like here's something else.
Here's something else too. I have seen, I don't know, on YouTube or somewhere. That's changing in ballet.
Good.
You are seeing a lot more men and women of color.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
You are seeing different body types.
Mm-hmm.
I think mostly just like, taller women. I don't know if you're seeing, non super thin women, but So, it's changing a little.
That's good. I'm glad because it's taken a long time for that to happen. But
It's all because of Black Swan.
Oh, there's something that I wanted to talk about. Like when the girls show up at the dance class, Ami says something along the lines of something like, oh, a nice medium exercise, like a medium strenuous exercise or something like that. It's kind of like vague. Like it.
That sounds like a bad Viz translation
Well,
to me.
but it sounded...
Mine was more like, dance is good for your health, too. Like, they've got to give Ami, like, a dumb practical reason to want to do it.
Okay, that sounds better, because mine just
Whereas
made it
Ray's
sound...
like, I'm just here to shake it. Ray, the more I see it, the more it's like, this is extreme overcompensation.
Ray?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
It's like when Tom Cruise... No, I don't know anything about Tom Cruise. Yeah, early in Tom Cruise's career, like on The Outsiders.
I don't know.
You never seen The Outsiders?
Have I seen that? I don't think I have.
You absolutely have. Patrick Swayze, Matt Dillon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like the 8th on the call sheet.
Yeah.
This was like his first movie, pre-Old New Teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like, it's an S.E. Hinton book about a bunch of like dudes in a greaser gang.
Right.
And it's a bunch of like 19, 20-year-old Hollywood actors.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a rough and tumble set. And so they were, everybody's palling around. But like Tom Cruise was really doing it. When he does that flip over the fence, that's his idea.
Of course.
He's like,
it
guys,
was.
check this out. And something that I've heard from his co-stars was that he was like, really like, hey, none of us are queer though, right?
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that would be terrible if that was us. No, we're just dudes.
He said that?
Yeah, look, I'm paraphrasing for him.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Overcompensating there, Tom.
That's what it feels like.
It does.
That's what the Ray thing feels like.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can see that.
This axe will be a stick.
You know what?
By the time I'm done.
Cal, I say go with God. Ray is, because you're not even going for bi anymore, I don't feel like. I feel like you're pushing, like, she doesn't like guys at all. I feel like you're, just girls.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be bi.
I say do.
Well, in the live action, there is hide nor hair of any men around there.
That is true.
Well, she's figuring things out.
Yeah.
But we know where she's going to land.
Yeah, of course.
We know where she's going to land.
Yeah, for sure. So before we started talking about Tom Cruise, I wanted to say that I feel like it doesn't always recognize that dance is very athletic. It's a sport. You have to have a lot of stamina. It takes a lot of strength. And I feel like ballet is not necessarily always seen that way, because it's like, oh, it's a thing that girls do. And oh, they're only slightly sweating and stuff like that. But it's like, there's a lot that goes into it.
I have a question for you.
Oh, I just said that's only something girls do, and I shouldn't have said that.
Why are you so bigoted? I have a question for you. Where's your time machine?
Why?
Nobody's thought that for a long time. That's such an 80s sitcom thing. Tim, loses a bet with Al, and so he has to take a ballet course, but then he's like, oh boy, this is tougher than I thought. And then at the end, Wilson comes to see it, and he's afraid that this is a good spec script for Home Improvement.
It is.
Rosie Greer, a football player from the 60s and 70s, talked about like how he had to take ballet class. His coach made him take ballet because it made him lighter on his feet and more flexible and agile. I don't think that's really a thing. Are we reinventing new old forms of sexism? Maybe we are. I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that in a while.
I guess I just which is
why I felt confident walking into that ballet class. That and those tights that I had. Very tight.
Oh my God.
No.
I guess I don't know, when Ami said, oh, it's a medium kind of exercise is good for you too, I was just kind of like, what do you mean by that? So maybe that's me reading into the bad.
Yeah, screw you, Ami. We're not taking you to the midnight showing of Black Swan.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Do you think Black Swan inspired people to get into ballet?
It had to have inspired
Why?
some. Yeah, well.
You too can be skeletal. And yes, there's a promise that you
I know.
might get to make out with Mila Kunis, but also...
Is it a promise, though? Because that's very specific
Barbara
to this
Hershey's
character.
going to be abusing you, and then you'll stab yourself and die.
Yeah.
It's hellish. You're going to peel
It's
things off your
hellish.
feet.
Yeah.
I remember that when I did it wasn't ballet, but when I did the long run of that Christmas show, I had
Christmas Carol or?
it was Christmas Carol. Let's nail it down. You want to give the address on the theater too?
No.
My feet were, a minefield. They were it was all bruises and calluses and blisters, and you just get used to it. Tape it up, move on.
Oh my God.
Advil.
That sounds very painful.
Advil.
Yeah, I've heard that specifically ballerinas who dance on toe, like their feet
On point.
excuse me. See, I don't know what I'm talking about. Their feet are not pretty. They get pretty messed up because do you have to tape them? Tape your toes and stuff like that too.
They have talons.
Yeah.
And feathers. Oh, we've all seen the documentary. Your joints get wacky too. I dated a girl who's a ballet dancer. Look, I've dated a lot of dancers. I don't to find the pattern. I don't know. She was a dancer for years, and every time that she bent down, both of her knees went off like shotguns. Just like pop, pop. The magnitude of the sound was loud. And I was like, all right, is everything okay? She's like, that's just what they do. Which is like, okay, as long as it doesn't hurt. What do you do during a performance?
When that happens?
Yeah. If you're doing a
I
bend,
don't
don't your knees make that sound?
Yeah.
If there wasn't musical accompaniment, would you just hear like shuffle, 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 pop, 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 shuffle, 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 pop, pop, pop?
Yes. The answer is yes. That's what you would hear. Your joints
You're like
would
a
make
rat
their
in
own
a box of
music.
Rice Krispies.
Yeah, right.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further...
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan.
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon and the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough Trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno is returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning alcopop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kyo Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode. We're going to be talking about ballet in Japan.
Ballet.
Ballet.
Uh-oh, what did they say?
Ballet. I said it. It's in the episode. It's ballet. So it's BALLET. R-E-I. It's a romanization. It's a borrowed word, right? So it's in katakana, so it's ballet. What?
It seems like they fixed it up, so it sounds pretty good.
It does sound pretty good.
I feel like other words that they borrow, they just go like fruit basket upset on the syllables, and they're like, yeah, you get it. It's like a car crash. This one's like, make it sound real good.
I
There's
don't know.
A little something extra.
You're absolutely correct about that. I honestly, yes, because there definitely are some words that sound really great and others that you're just like, you're saying something, but I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah. European classical ballet, heavily influenced by Russian methods, was introduced to Japan at the end of World War II. By 1959, there were at least 18 classical ballet schools found in Tokyo, run by ballet companies.
Are you skipping a step?
What?
You didn't tell us who Mr. Ballet was.
I don't know who Mr. Ballet was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It just sort of snuck in.
It just kind of snuck in.
On
like
pointed little padded toes.
Yes, and pirouetted around. Exactly. So yeah, by 1959, there were about 18 classical ballet schools in Tokyo run by ballet companies with around 100 throughout Japan. The Tokyo Ballet is a classical ballet company based in Tokyo, and it was founded in 1964. It's one of the leading performing arts companies in Japan. The Tokyo Ballet began as a performance company for graduates of one of Tokyo's first classical ballet schools, Tokyo Ballet Gakko. Gakko is the Japanese word for school. It was soon directed by Tadatsugu Sasaki, and Sasaki envisioned a large company with well-trained ensemble dancers and developed ties to international ballet companies around the world. In 2019, the Tokyo Ballet completed 775 performances on 34 overseas tours, which was a record in the history of Japanese performing arts. The company has been invited to theaters all around the world, such as Opéra Nationale de Paris, the Teatro alla Scala di Milano, the Wiener Staatsoper, the Deutsche Oper Berlin, and the Bolshoi Theater and the Mariinsky Theater, performing in over 155 cities across 32 countries.
I like how for the foreign languages, you just picked like one general accent to just cover, one accent to rule them all.
Yeah, I know.
Mario.
It's like, well, we'll just go with this.
That's what Luigi is. Like, they didn't even try. They got Wario. All right, that makes sense. And then Waluigi.
Yeah, I know.
They just didn't even bother.
So I thought we would take a closer look at some well-known ballet dancers who are from Japan. Born in 1948 in Hiroshima, Yoko Morishita was called both the, quote, prima ballerina of the world and the, quote, pearl of the Orient. Morishita was the first Japanese ballet dancer to become really successful on the international stage. She started studying ballet when she was only 3 and began dancing at the Matsuyama Ballet Company in 1971. In 1974, she became the first Japanese person to win the gold medal at the Varna International Ballet Competition. In 1976, she made her international debut as a prima ballerina. She was the first Japanese ballet dancer to appear in the Paris Opera, and she made many other guest appearances with leading ballet companies all over the world. She danced with Rudolf Nureyev. He's a Russian guy, more than 200 times. Nureyev is regarded by some as the greatest male ballet dancer of his generation. Notably, they danced together for Queen Elizabeth's Silver Jubilee in 1977. They performed the Grand Pas de Deux from Don Quixote. So yeah, that was, and they did a really amazing job. Morishita has received many awards, including the esteemed Laurence Olivier Award in 1985 for her performance in Giselle. These awards are presented by the Society of London Theatre to recognize excellence in professional theatre in London. So, like, all of these ballet dancers we're going to talk about today had some success in dancing outside of Japan. Tetsuya Kumakawa was born in Sapporo in 1972. Kumakawa started ballet lessons after watching his 8-year-old cousin's ballet lessons. Hans Meister was a Swiss ballet choreographer who came to Japan to teach ballet, and Meister encouraged Kumakawa to travel, and he recommended that he attend either the Royal Ballet School, or RBS, in London, or the Canadian National Ballet School. Kumakawa was 15 years old when he started dancing at the Royal Ballet School. In January 1989, less than 2 years later, he won both the gold medal and the Prince Takamoto Prize, awarded to the best performer in the competition at the distinguished Prix de la Soigne in Switzerland. The Prix de la Soigne is an international dance competition held annually in La Soigne, Switzerland, and the competition is for young dancers seeking to pursue a professional career in classical ballet. In 1989, he turned professional, and he became the first Asian dancer to join the Royal Ballet Company, or RBC, and he became the youngest soloist in their history. In June of 1989, he won the Classical Ballet Prize at the Eurovision Young Dancer of the Year competition held in Paris. I didn't know that that was part of Eurovision.
Sponsored by?
Maybe, yeah. He was promoted to first soloist in 1991 and principal dancer in 1993. In 1998, Kumakawa left the Royal Ballet to start his own ballet company, the K Ballet, in Tokyo, Japan. His departure was very controversial. Not only did he leave the company mid-season, he also took 5 of the top male dancers with him to help start his company in Japan. They were not pleased. With K Ballet, Kumakawa juggled the roles of artistic director, lead dancer, teacher, and company manager. The K Ballet was very successful and helped nurture a growing interest in ballet in Japan. And so it's like K-ballet. And like before I was reading up on what that was, I just saw that and I was like, is that like K-drama or K-pop? Is that like a kind of ballet in Korea? No, that's the name of his studio. And that's because his last name is Kumakawa. So it's like his ballet. So
KK Ballet.
What? Why is it KK Ballet?
Kumakawa.
Oh, you got it. Okay? I should have known. Yeah, you're right. KK Ballet.
I mean, it's not, whatever. Is that one or two characters?
Kumakawa.
Kuma character. Kawa character.
I think it's at least 2. So Kuma means bear and Kawa means river.
Right.
So
Bear River.
Yeah. So apparently, the folks in England called him Teddy because his last name is Bear River.
Kumakawa? No, Teddy. We'll call him Teddy.
Yeah. That sounds so British.
Learn
right?
his name.
I know. Miyako Yoshida was born in 1965 in Tokyo, and Yoshida is a ballet dancer and a principal guest artist at the Royal Ballet, as well as a principal dancer with K Ballet. Yoshida won the Prix de la Soigne in 1983 and joined the Royal Ballet School in England. In 1984, she joined the Sadler's Wells Royal Ballet, which is present-day Birmingham Royal Ballet, and was promoted to principal in 1988. The following year, she was awarded the Global Award and the Arts and Entertainment Prize for Artists of the Ministry of Education, Science, Sports, and Culture, Japan. Next. Yes. In 1995, Yoshida joined the Royal Ballet as principal dancer and was known for her dancing partnership with Mr. Kumakawa. She was also appointed UNESCO Artist for Peace in 2001. In 2006, Yoshida joined K Ballet while she continued dancing with the Royal Ballet before winning the Best Female Dancer in National Dance Awards. In 2007, she was appointed an Honorary Officer of the Order of the British Empire, or OBE, for services to dance, which I mean, that's impressive. In 2010, she retired from the Royal Ballet at Covent Garden. What?
I think like Oingo Boingo has one. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but no, yeah, it's an accomplishment.
It's an accomplishment.
John Lennon sent his back.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
A lot of people do.
Really?
A lot of people refuse him because they're like, I don't like what you do, British government.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess I hadn't thought of it like
And
that.
then Elton John's like, I'll take that. Thank you.
Oh, just one? Okay.
It clashed. Yeah, could I get two?
Yoshida became the artistic director of the National Ballet of Japan, or NBJ, in March of 2020. She was scheduled to take up the mantle in September of 2020, but her predecessor was outside of Japan when the pandemic hit, so she was asked to start the role earlier.
Huh.
NBJ opened their 2022-2023 season this past fall with a new production of Giselle. And although it was a new version of Giselle, the production was classical in style. And well, I mean, as opposed to modern.
Giselle on the street.
You could do that.
A hip-hop Giselle.
Boo-doo-doo-doo.
Giselle dies, but her consciousness is transferred into a computer, and she becomes an AI. And then she must save the computer programmer who helped make her into the AI from other AIs on the web that want to, destroy him somehow.
I like this idea. I'm just like trying to figure out like how do you envision this computer dancing around on the stage and stuff like that.
That's the company's job, isn't it?
I don't need to give you a pitch.
That ain't my job.
Oh,
I just write
fair.
the book for these things. It just seems like that's, oh wow, the self-sacrificing woman. Never seen that in a fairy tale before.
It's very fairy tale. It's very fairy tale.
Never ever seen that.
I know.
She turned to foam at the end, or do you know what I mean? There's a lot of stories where it's just like,
I know.
well, she's dead, but where are we going for drinks?
Yeah, pretty much.
Orange Web? Yeah.
Are any of those stories written by women, do you think? Or were they all written, is it like women viewed with a male gaze?
Let's see. The Brothers Grimm. Let's see. Possibly.
Yeah, Hans Christian Andersen. He did The Little Mermaid.
Hans Christian Gruber.
Gruber. Yes.
It's not Christmas until Hans Brinker gets his silver skates and falls off the Nakatomi Plaza.
Of course, we know this. Ballet plays a lead role in a lot of manga and anime as well. So I thought,
shut up. No, I don't know.
Well, there's some.
I know about ice skating.
Well, I wanted to highlight a couple that are really well known. Swan is a shoujo manga by Kyoko Ariyoshi that was released into 21 volumes. The plot mostly follows a young girl, Masumi, as she struggles to become a ballerina. By 2011, the manga had over 20 million copies in circulation. Essentially, she at the beginning, she goes backstage and she meets the two lead ballet dancers. They're both Russian for some reason.
And it's like a love triangle?
No. She's a young girl and they're adults.
So it's a love triangle?
No, and she gets so tongue-tied that she doesn't know how to...
Sorry.
No, stop it! She just starts dancing to express her gratitude towards them or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's okay, sure, yeah, whatever. Then she gets invited to do this ballet school that they're helping run or something like that. Anyways.
Sounds great.
It's like a competition thing, and she becomes friends with these other girls and they compete against each other and that sort of stuff. And there's ballet.
So it's not like I'm in this performance and the only thing that can get me out is multi-track jetéing, or every volume there's some new skill that they have to develop, or she's dancing against somebody else.
Well, that would be cool.
Huh, she's dancing on two toes. I've got the one toe technique. And it's like, no. People are like, oh.
Not this one, but
Prince of Ballet.
Yeah, right. But the second one I'm going to mention is anime, and that maybe. It's Princess Tutu. I don't know if you've heard of it, but so I've heard of it before. It's a Japanese magical girl anime series created by illustrator and animator Ikuko Ito. Ito was the animation director on various episodes of Sailor Moon, as well as character designer. So a Sailor Moon alum. And
Do you think when people hire Sailor Moon alums, they're like, great, what season did you work on? They're like, I worked on the 4th season. Get out.
I mean...
Yeah, but I mean, after you get out of here.
I mean, she did, but she worked on the seasons before that, too.
Yeah,
but
well,
anyways.
Gets on everybody.
Yeah, I know. The chief director of the Princess Tutu anime was Junichi Sato, who was the chief director of the first season of Sailor Moon as well as the Aeon On arc. So we just got a Sailor Moon team up here. So Princess Tutu was inspired by ballet and fairy tales, particularly The Ugly Duckling and Swan Lake. The story follows a duck who is transformed into the mythical ballerina Princess Tutu in order to save the shattered heart of a storybook prince come to life. The first season was broadcast in Japan in 2002 and the second season in 2002 and 2003. And reviewers point out that although Princess Tutu is nominally a magical girl series, it is more of a, quote, fairy tale set to ballet with a few magical girl elements mixed in, and its use of dance in lieu of violence to solve conflicts carries, quote, surprisingly effective emotional appeal.
Okay. Look, you don't have to oversell it. I know what it is.
So we're not going to have like a fisticuff. We're going to have a dance off.
They're
ballet style.
Modern dance fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Luna is kind of a fairy godmother when you think about it.
She is, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. A mean one, but
she's the mouse and the fairy put together.
The mouse?
Like if it's Cinderella, there's, the fairy godmother, and then there's the mice that help her out or whatever. She's
True.
like both of them.
She is both of them, except she's kind of mean too. But
yeah, well, depending on the depiction of the fairy godmother. And then there's, of course, human Luna.
Or do you mean in the live action, or do you mean the Sailor Moon-esque movie?
Both.
Yeah. You're not a fan of either.
I'm a fan of the portrayal of Child Luna by the actress in the live action show. Although I still think that human Luna is a bad idea. And proof positive is watching the live action show and going, oh, they didn't really do anything with that. It doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter at all.
No.
She just becomes a little child to get kids to watch it, I guess. When they flash forward to the future, it's not like she's like now high schooler Luna or something. It's like she's, I've got a life now.
Yeah,
I can't do this anymore.
No.
It doesn't really matter. So it just, they didn't have any plan. Just like
they didn't.
Just like how Naoko Takeuchi had no plan when she made Luna a lady for the S movie.
She had an idea. It just did, I guess, I don't know. Look, I like it. And I know it didn't really go anywhere, and that makes me kind of sad. So I totally get what you're saying. But I still like it.
Makes Artemis sad, too. What if Artemis was like, she looked pretty good as a human?
Could you be a human instead of a cat? That'd be weird.
Some days.
That's weird.
Just on weekends.
Oh, my God.
Here's a manga idea. Little cows, and it's a manga about microscopic bovine dancers who go into old wrinkled dance teachers and blow them up from the inside.
Okay. You lost me, and now you got me. Itadakimasu Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? So they're at Fruits Parlor Crown, and then they talk about going there later, but other than that, there's not really food in this episode. But Chibiusa does say to Usagi, your problem is that you eat way too many sweets. So thanks, Chibi.
You're right along with me there, Chib.
Feel engaged. We rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The lemur in this episode is Kurumi Wario, the Nutcracker doll.
Wario.
Yes. Kurumi Wario's name comes from the Japanese word for nutcracker, Kurumi Wari, which is the it just has an O at the end. Maybe to make it sound more like a name. They're like, Kurumi Wari is just what it is, so
Wario
we'll just add an O.
1992. Now this guy is not. He's not. I don't know what Wario sounds like in Japanese.
I don't know.
Does he sound the same as the American voice actor?
Great question. I
Who's
have no idea.
very similar to what I did. I think. So I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know. You pointed out that there was a Mario too, but that didn't really. That person wasn't like, "Hey,
No, but it's like
I kill you."
no. But were they like, well, we
You're
did
gonna die. Woohoo!
But were they like, well, we did a Mario.
Or
so
if you're
let's
Chris
just-
Pratt, you're gonna die. Hey, it is me, Mario.
I'm so cool.
He never says that he's cool. Other people say he's cool.
I know.
That's what makes him cool.
Oh my god. Ugh, gross. So Kurumi Wario's design, he's a nutcracker made out of brown wood, complete with a nutcracker mouth.
So
And-
let's talk.
yes.
He's not a nutcracker. He does crack nuts. He's got an aperture with a thing that cracks nuts.
Yes.
But he's basically just like a wooden puppet. Like
You're
he
right.
is a marionette puppet.
You're right.
If he was a woodcracker, he would be, or a nutcracker. How much wood could a wood crack wood if a crack would crack, smoke crack? He would be, straight up and down.
Stiff.
Maybe he would but he's got like articulated joints. I mean, he is just a puppet
No, you're right. He is a puppet.
without strings.
Yes.
Do they know what a nutcracker is?
They're like, let's do Nutcracker, but this one can dance. And I don't. They're just
This
like
ain't your daddy's nutcracker. Going around, down, going to town.
well, like
How you gonna hide all these kids under a mini skirt? Boop, boop, boop. Isn't that part of the Nutcracker where all the kids are in the lady's skirt?
yes.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right, look, we're really stretching here.
I know.
Yeah, all right. So look, okay, fine. He's made of wood. He cracks nuts. Fine. All I'm saying is that you draw some strings up from this guy's limbs.
He's a
and
puppet.
He's just a puppet.
I know. And
He's even got a little. Well, no, he's got hair, not a hat. But still, he's got a little nose. He looks like a Pinocchio.
he does look like a Pinocchio. And if you just if I had not seen this episode and you just showed me his picture, I wouldn't say, "Oh, that's a Nutcracker."
Oh, a Nutcracker again?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're right. He does not look like
I had
it.
Nutcracker for lunch.
Oh, he has green, almost like Oompa Loompa hair.
Yes. Yes.
Parted down the middle and curled at the bottom, as well as large green eyebrows and red eyes. And he has a red short sleeve puffy shirt with a large white collar, black belt with a circular gold buckle, and blue puffy shorts, and knee-high red boots with gold trim. I don't know what else to call them. They're like puffy shorts.
They're little pants.
Pants. Yes, exactly. Imagine like, I was gonna say Hans wore something like that, but I think Hans
Hans'
probably
pants. Yeah,
Hans'
we know.
pants.
We know.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Now we are up to the rating. I think making him a Nutcracker is cool because the Nutcracker and dance and stuff like that, but I don't love the overall design. I'm not feeling it. Turning his head all the way around is creepy and unsettling, but I don't hate it. And I love the whole thing that he's trying to teach Sailor Moon and Chibi how to be prima ballerinas. Like he is like a strict ballet teacher. I like that a lot. I like that he attacks Sailor Moon with a tutu. I'm not a fan of the fat shaming, but it is in line with dance teachers. So I also like the whole nut thing. Like, I don't know why it comes out of his head, and like they're like, wait, that's a nut. Is that his brain? And it's like,
You can have like, maybe some nutcrackers have a space that you can put nuts in.
yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, maybe just store them in there. We're thinking about this too much.
Do you have a nutcracker but no nuts?
Yeah,
There's
right.
got to be a better way.
Yeah, exactly.
Now get pre-nutted nutcrackers.
Oh my god.
These nutcrackers come with a nut inside them.
Get your nuts. And I love that he says dance in hell, because that's just That's wow.
It's almost, it's a very big mood shift. And,
yes.
we get that he's mean, but he seems focused, and he seems like he's about the training.
Yeah.
But then he's like, dance in hell.
Yeah.
So
he's done. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like I feel like this monster is on point. He knows what he wants, and he's gonna tell you to dance in hell. This is strong, so I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5. Dark stars.
Wow, like Giselle, that review started off not so great, and then really landed it at the end. Giselle performed by Kiriko, I should say.
Yes.
I don't know what to think of this one.
Yeah.
So it gets 3, which is really my worst rating. It's the rating where I'm like, I need to give a rating, so it's 3. You know that I like Yoma or lemurs who aren't necessarily doing their job very well and have an interesting take on their job. But this went on for so long.
Yeah,
he's just there forever.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going. And it's like a couple times I'm like, okay, it's time for Tuxedo Mask to come in. Let's do it. Come on. And it works against everything that's happening because he's got a fun bit. And it's a bit where maybe the show's a little short and we can spend time in this bit. Okay, fine, but don't kill it. And if you're going to do a long bit, don't start it with Chibi and Usagi both being like, she's not one of these guys.
That's also a good point.
You want to just cap him now? Or, those are funny jokes too, but like don't do those for a guy that we will then be spending like 10 minutes with.
Right.
So those things work against him. I think the kind of blah design works against him.
Yeah.
But then he's shooting nuts at people. And he's making them dance, and then he's dancing himself, and so he walks the talk, talks the walk. So you gotta respect that. So it just comes out in the wash. It's a 3.
That's fine.
It's a walnut.
Yes.
It's not an almond.
Specifically. Yes.
Almond's a 1. It's not a pecan. Pecan's a 5.
Pecan is a 5.
It's just a walnut.
That's true.
Right in the middle.
Walnuts are okay.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like walnuts. A lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
They have the lowest fat content of your normal nuts.
That is what
That's why I like them. You can eat them all the time.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. I mean, he's like...
Put some walnuts and some chip cookies. Good to go.
I mean, that'd be good. He is kind of like walnut level, but I just felt like he's so committed to his bit.
Macadamia's too...
Really?
Macadamia's just like chalky.
Oh.
There's nothing there.
Well, especially in desserts.
Cashew's a 4.
Cashew is definitely a 4. I like macadamia nuts in desserts. Anyways.
There's the nut scale.
Yeah, the nut scale. Take a bow or a rating of how our villains left the stage of life. His voice wavers before he can scream stage out. There's a little bit of variation there, so I'm going to give it 3 out of 5.
I'm going to give it 2 for the same reason.
Okay.
Good voice, good scream. Really wanted a wah! What we got. But that's the only thing that sets us apart from anything else. So
yes.
Just a 2.
All right, sounds good. Now we're up to our rating. I like that Yamagishi-sensei said that an imperfect Giselle with room to grow instead of a perfect fairy was more likely to appeal to people's hearts. I like that both Kiriko and Fisheye feel like Giselle and betrayed by Yamagishi. Yamagishi's just a dick. You've already said that, but this guy is an a-hole.
He is rewriting reality on the fly.
Yes.
Because the show has this weird, sorry, this is your review, but this episode has this weird thing that I didn't bother to mention in the recap, where we keep getting like flashes, and I don't know if it happens before we meet Yamagishi, so it isn't like the mind of the director thinking about the show. We see like Usagi, and I guess she's thinking about herself on the stage.
I think so.
We keep cutting to people's mental pictures of being on stage, but it's done inconsistently and in no way that informs like what's happening at all. And he literally looks at Fish and thinks, this is Giselle. Like, he is not thinking like, I'm going to get some good ideas from this dancer.
No.
And then just pay her a consulting fee, I guess, and then use the other dancer. That was never his plan. That's what he tells her later.
Yeah.
He lied to her and he's manipulating her.
He felt bad.
And this is a bad ending that they end up together.
Yeah, it is a bad ending. I agree with you. I love that Usagi says that another weirdo lemur showed up, and Chibi says she doesn't want to deal with him. I thought that was pretty great. I don't love the power dynamics and or age differences between Kiriko and Yamagishi Sensei's relationship. It is unclear to me how old she is. She could be exactly Usagi's age. I don't know. Regardless, even if her and Yamagishi Sensei are the same age, he's the teacher who's going to give her a part or not give her a part. I don't like it. And the fat shaming in this episode is just too much. There were too many jokes and everything, and it just took me completely out. I did not like it. This gets 1 out of 5 roses for me.
Whoa. There's just too much good stuff or good attempts at stuff. This is like a Kiriko who never got off the ground. And let me just tell you, as a performer, that's a lot of BS. Maybe in your mind, like giving it your best shot and really growing is good for you and the person who, trained you and sees you growing. People come to see a show, they just want to see the best show that they can see. And they don't, unless they too are themselves performers, they're not going to see the subdrama that you have going on where you are, discovering something inside of yourself, like on stage. That's not real.
No.
That's not really a thing. So it sounds like somebody who studied ballet and never made it to stage. That's what it sounds like to me. Other than that, like, there's good stuff about it. There's just not enough. We've already talked about how, like, the Senshi are in this, but it doesn't feel like their story at all. And we've already had another thing where Fish completely instead of just going, give me a dreams, jump through somebody's window, like, insert themselves into somebody's life. I like the way that Fish, her tactics, and so they become more involved story-wise as a result of how she does it. But this just, like, nothing really happens, and then the end comes, and, like, the villain comes out, and the villain's all right, and so that's now I'm back. I was like a 2, then I was back to like a 3 with the villain, but then the villain hung around too long, and then they had the weight crack, and I'm back down to 2, and then you explain the moon joke to me, and I'm back at a 3.
All right.
So I give it a 3.
All right. See, for me, it was the moon joke, and I was like, and I'm out, everybody. I'm out. So, yeah.
I'll give him that. She round.
I know. I know.
It's so stupid. It's funny.
Very stupid. My English title is Heart Dancing.
Heart dancing. Perfect. Just, there's a heart. What's the kanji for heart? It's draw heart. Actually, I think in Japanese you could get. It's not like they have like emojis in their written word, but you can get away with drawing a heart. And people are like, oh, I get what that is.
They would know what you meant. Yeah.
Heart dancing. But what was the English title? It was like Tutu terrible treachery. Right.
Treachery.
Yeah, not great. Me title is much better. It's Dance Dance Retribution.
Perfect. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 146. Jubangai no Kyujutsu, Mujukai na Ojo-sama in Japanese. Juban Holiday, The Carefree Princess, the English translation, and the English title, The Duchess's Day Off.
What? We're taking another day off?
Yeah, well.
What was the jujitsu? That sounds like we're fighting.
That was Kyujitsu.
Kyujitsu.
Yeah.
Attacking with a vase.
God damn it.
I could use a day off.
I have a certain idea of what this is already about, but I won't say anything.
Maybe the Diamond Princess will come back.
That'd be pretty great.
Yeah.
Honestly. Remember her with her swirly Umino glasses?
Oh, that's right. We can't have any Umino references.
Yeah. Right. That would remind us too much of the
Really,
Umino.
like, she's Umino money when you think about it.
She is.
Yeah.
But she's like hot when her glasses are off. But apparently, like
Maybe Umino is too.
that actually, yeah. I think I talked about this like in like one of the manga panels. Like supposedly he is or something like that. I don't
Takes
know.
off his glasses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, when we need to rest and relax, we go to shore leave.
We do.
And we did that recently. We have live shows the last week of every month on Twitch. All of our streaming content for the network is on Twitch at twitch.tv/justenough-trope. It is those live shows. It is the Laser Lunch Hour, video game streaming by yours truly, sometimes joined by Mika and Hana as well. And we have more planned to do there on the streaming site. That also connects to YouTube as well. We've got Just Enough Trope, our main channel on YouTube. So if you want video content from us, that's what we got. It's not a lot so far. We're still kind of working on developing new stuff, but we plan to get that out soon with our new studio and everything. So, keep an eye. Watch this space. As they say, twitch.tv, Just Enough Trope.
Well, that's it for our show this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Go dance in hell!